and they splash when I drum. And my dad's hands sweat too, but he's always like, your hands don't sweat that bad. You know, my hands don't shake that bad. Life is great, and everything is grand, you know. He always liked to deny things, but he'll be drinking his coffee, almost spilling it, and I'm like, I think you have a serious problem. And he's like, no, it's not that bad. And I'm thinking, growing up, you know, when your hands are dripping onto the floor, that's pretty bad. And everybody else has seemed to think so. My friends, people who wouldn't hold my hand, you know, praying, growing up in Christian schools, you know, have to hold hands while you pray. It makes it more effective. Yeah, but apparently it's not so bad. Yeah. But I read something neurological, which is so weird because you think your brain controls everything. So couldn't all your problems just be connected to your brain, you know? You know, why does she act like that? It's neurological, you know? Oh my gosh, why does he have that pimp walk, you know? Why does he walk? It's neurological. It is, man, your handwriting is so terrible. It is indeed neurological, you know? I feel like everything can be traced back to your brain. So, I mean, this woman dresses uncontrollably bad, you know? It's neurological. Everything. It all stems from the mind. Without the mind, there's nothing. So, you can blame everything on your brain. You can blame all of existence on your brain, you know, everything. So I don't understand then why your hands shake, you know. Because it's neurological. But yeah, wouldn't it be interesting if certain things like mental illnesses weren't connected to your brain, you know? Like, man, I'm super depressed, you know, and they're like, it's all in your hips. It is all in your hips. Like, okay, you know? I hear voices, and I know where it's coming from. Right here. Okay? I'm just saying, you know, it'd be interesting if we could attribute things that for sure come from your brain from other places, you know. You know, why does she talk like that? Well, her belly button makes her talk like that. I think it would be way more interesting if our body was connected in those ways where, you know, your fingers did more than just your fingers did, you know. Like, they actually affected your vision. You know, your eyes weren't connected to your head, per se. They were connected to your fingers. I thought, you know, it's much cooler that way. Yeah, but the body is a strange thing. Everything's connected. I mean, obviously. Oh, that would be interesting, you know? If, you know, your body parts can just disassemble and then come back together. I think we could be more productive that way, you know? And there would be no excuses for laziness whatsoever, you know? Something's over there, do I have to walk to it? No. Disassemble, you know? Make your arm go get be so much cooler. You know. Oh, you know, you should go to this place and try on those shoes, you know? Just pop off those legs, you know? They can jump in those shoes themselves, you know? Super productive. It'd be nice if those body parts also, like, scaled up things, like walls. Like, if you disassembled your arm, you could just scale up the wall and take that battery off of that annoying fire alarm, you know, because of the low battery, you know. You could just do that and then just take it back, you know. Life would be so much more interesting, and I'm just thinking, like, why didn't God, you know, put a little more spice into it, you know? Made things really interesting, you know? Because life is pretty sci-fi as is, but, you know, I think it can get sci-fi-ier, you know? Like, what if we were in a sci-fi movie, you know? What if things happened, you know? I wrote a story recently for my writing class about this child who is born, and he is born without gravity. I mean, he was born into this world like any other child, but he is not affected by gravity. So he's born and he comes out of his mother and he's still connected to her while he's floating up, and he ends up stopping because he's just tethered to his mother. And my teacher probably thought, you know, and yeah, something's wrong with me. But I made it super meaningful. I mean, his mother's crying, you know, once they got the baby down. His mother's crying because, you know, her son will always be shackled to this earth because gravity is now something that is, you know, discriminative, you know, like it only takes certain people. And I thought that was such an interesting concept, and my teacher ended up writing, so I guess it works. I don't know of anyone who makes sci-fi this super deep and meaningful thing, you know? Like, you know,